Hello friends, welcome to video lecture on fluid mechanics. In the today's lecture, we'll learn about the next method for a dimensional analysis, that is Buckingham's pi theorem. So let us start with the Buckingham's pi theorem. We just say the previous method we have discussed about the dimensional analysis, that is the release method. If the number of variables are more, then with the help of that method, it's very difficult to get the dimensions of the various actually required physical quantities. Okay, so this problem, if you just see here, fundamental dimensions such as the mass, length, and time. Okay, so more than this, when the dimensions are included, then it is very difficult to get the solution by using release method. So this can be easily overcome by this one, Buckingham's pi theorem, okay, which states that if there are n variables in physical phenomenon and if these variables contain m fundamental dimensions, that is mlt, then the variables are arranged into n minus m dimensionless terms. Each term is called pi term. Let x1, x2, x3, xn are the variables involved in the physical problem. Let x1 be the dependent variable and x2, x3 up to xn are the independent variables on which x1 depends. Then x1 is a function of x2, x3 up to xn, and mathematically it is expressed as x1 equals to a function of x2, x3 up to xn. So this equation can be written as f1 a function of x1, x2, x3 up to xn equals to 0. So this equation number 2 is a dimensional homogeneous equation. It contains n variables. If there are m fundamental dimensions, then according to Buckingham's pi theorem, this equation 2 can be written in terms of the number of dimensionless groups or pi terms in which number of pi terms is equal to n minus m. Hence this equation number 2, this one, becomes as function of pi 1, pi 2 up to pi n minus m equals to 0. Each of pi terms is dimensionless and is independent of the system. Division or multiplication by a constant does not change the character of pi term. Each pi term contains m plus 1 variables, where m is the number of fundamental dimensions and is also called repeating variables. Let in above case x2, x3, x4 are the repeating variables if the fundamental dimension mlt equals to 3, then each pi term is written as pi 1 equals to x2 raised to a1 into x3 raised to b1 into x4 raised to c1 into x1. Now next one, pi 2 is nothing but the x2 raised to a2, then x3 raised to b2, the next one x4 raised to c2 into next one, that is x5. Now at last we can get this pi term in this way: pi n minus m equals to x2 raised to a n minus m into x3 raised to b n minus m into x4 raised to c n minus m up to xn. Okay, multiply by xn. Each equation is solved by the principle of dimensional homogeneity, and values of a1, b1, c1, etc. are obtained. These values are substituted in equation number, this one, equation number 4, and the values of pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 up to pi n minus m are obtained. These values of pi's are substituted in equation number 3, okay, in this way. The final equation for the phenomenon is obtained by expressing any one of pi term as a function of others in this way. So pi 1 is nothing but here 5, pi 2, pi 3 up to pi n minus m. Similarly, next one pi 2 is nothing but here pi 1 into pi 1 comma pi 3 comma next one up to pi n minus 1. So this series is repeated. Okay, now see what's about the method of selecting the repeating variables. This point is very important one. The number of repeating variables are equal to the number of fundamental dimensions of the problem. The choice of the repeating variable is governed by the following considerations. First one, as far as possible, the dependent variable should not be selected as a repeating variable. This will clear to you when we'll just see the problem on the same topic. The repeating variables should be chosen in a such a way that one variable contains geometric property, other variable contains flow property, and third variable contains fluid property. This point is very important one. Then variables with the geometric properties are length, then diameter, okay, then height, etc. The variables with the flow properties that consist of velocity, acceleration, etc. Then variables with the fluid property, that is mu, rho, omega, etc. The repeating variables selected should not form a dimensionless group. The repeating variables together must have the same number of fundamental dimensions. No two repeating variables should have the same dimensions. In most of the fluid mechanics problem, the choice of the repeating variables may be, so this is actually one group shown here, d, then velocity. Okay, if you just see the d indicate the here the geometric property, v indicate the here flow property, and what's about the next one? This indicate the fluid property. In this way, we have to just group that various actually terms. Okay, so if you just see, this is nothing but the geometric property, this is nothing but the flow property, this is nothing but the fluid property. Okay, same case with the other things also. Okay, now what's about the procedure? We can just see the procedure for problem. We can just solve that problem with the help of Buckingham's pi theorem. Okay, so procedure for the solving problems by Buckingham's pi theorem is explained by considering the this problem. Okay, the resisting force R of the supersonic plane during flight can be considered as dependent upon the length of the aircraft L, then velocity V, air viscosity mu, air density rho, and bulk modulus of air K. Express the functional relationship between the variables and the resisting force, that is R. Okay, so resisting force R depends upon, as per here the information given, aircraft. Okay, here the length of the aircraft L, then next one is nothing but the velocity V, then air viscosity, that is mu, then density is nothing but the rho, and last one is nothing but the bulk modulus of the air, that is K. Okay, so hence R is the function of this one L, V, rho, and K. Okay, mathematically this can be written in this way: R is the function of this one L, V, mu, rho, K. It can be written as this one function f1. So this actually all the terms are written here: R, then L, V, mu, rho, K equals to 0. Now if you just see the number of variables with us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number of fundamental dimensions, that is M, L, and T with us 3. Okay, so M is obtained by writing the dimensions of each variables. Okay, now if you just see the first variable is here. Okay, so R is nothing but the resisting force. So force, we know the dimension for the force M, L, T raised to minus 2, then dimension for the V with us L raised to minus 1, the dimensions of the mu with us M into L raised to minus 1, T raised to minus 1, then dimension of the next parameter, that is rho with us M into L raised to minus 3, then next dimension of the bulk modulus K with us M, L raised to minus 1, T raised to minus 2. Okay, so thus the fundamental dimensions in the problems are M, L, T, and hence M equals to 3. Okay, So how can get that? Okay, here the fundamental dimensions 3 with us. That's why the m with us 3. And the number of dimensionless pi terms. Okay, so how many pi terms we can get? Okay, this can be decided with the help of this relation n minus m. So n, the total number of variables with us 6 and m with us 3. So 6 minus 3 is nothing but the 3. So thus 3 pi terms, say pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 are formed. Hence the equation 2, this equation number 2 can be written in this way. So it is the function of pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 equals to 0. So give equation number next for this one. So each pi term is nothing but m plus 1, okay, variables. So m plus 1 variables means here the total number of this one with us m is nothing but the 3 and plus 1, okay, means we have to just form the group of the 3 different physical quantities in a such a way that, okay, as per our previous discussion, that consists of one geometric property, then next one flow property, and one should be fluid property. Okay, now just see here, each pi term equals to m plus 1 variables, where m is equals to 3 and also called repeating variables. So out of these 6 variables r, l, v, mu, rho and k, 3 variables are to be selected as repeating variables. So r is the dependent variable and should not be selected as a repeating variable. Okay, so out of this 5 remaining, if you just see here, the r should not be actually considered as a repeating variable. Okay, so remaining 5 in front of you, so it consists of l, v, mu, rho, k. So out of this 5, the 3 should be selected in a such a way that one must be geometric property, that possess geometric property, next one should be possess flow property, and next one is nothing but the fluid property. Okay, so if you just say that actually point is fulfilled by this one length parameter, this one length parameter with us, that is nothing but the it fulfills the geometric property. Then next one is nothing but the it fulfills the flow property, and rho is fulfills here the fluid property. So here L is nothing but the length, okay, that fulfills the geometry. Here V means here velocity or acceleration, that fulfills the second property, that is flow property, and rho is nothing but the density that fulfills the fluid property. Okay, so these are nothing but the repeating variables. So repeating variables themselves should not form a dimensionless term and should have the themselves fundamental dimensions equal to m, that is 3. Okay, here, so 3 with us, that matches with the 3. Okay, so dimensions of L, V, rho are, now see the dimension of L. Dimensions of L is nothing but here L, dimension of the V with us L raised to t minus 1. Okay, and next one, dimensions of the rho with us m L raised to minus 3. So whatever the unit with us, according to that you have to just form the dimensions, and hence the 3 fundamental dimensions exist in L, V and rho, and they themselves do not form dimensionless group. Now just see here, each pi term is written as according to this actually relation. Okay, so first one, pi 1 is nothing but, so as per our this one groupism, L, V, rho, we have just consider that parameters. Okay, and here rho, mu, k, that remains. Okay, so here rho, mu, k, okay, the group of this one L, V, rho is formed by us, and the remaining one r, then mu and k with us. Okay, so r, mu, k multiply by this one, this term, this one. Okay, so pi 1 is nothing but L raised to a1 into V raised to b1 into rho raised to c1 into r. Similar case with the pi 2. Okay, where here only the power it changes by this one 2 number, and here you should multiply by next variable, that is a mu. Similar case with the next one, k should be multiplied by this one, and this actually number a1 should be replaced by 3. Now each pi term is solved by principle of a dimensional homogeneity. for the first pi term we have, now just here the pi 1 with us. So what's about the dimensions of dimensions towards the left side of this one? So if you just see every term is here missing, so mass raised to 0, L raised to 0, T raised to 0. Okay, this indicate the dimensions of the left side parameter. Okay, and what's about the dimensions of the right side parameter? For that, see the dimensions of L. So dimensions of the L with us, capital L. Okay, so raised to this term, power term will remain as it is. So A1 into what's about the dimensions of this V term, L into T raised to minus 1 raised to B1. Okay, into next one, mass term with us, so density with us, so dimensions of this density with us, m into L raised to minus 3, so raised to this C1 term will remain as it is. So what's about the dimensions of the R? Dimensions of the R already with us, m, L, T raised to minus 2. So this R parameter is nothing but the force parameter. Okay, resisting force, okay, is nothing but the force here. So you have to just substitute the value of the, or substitute the dimensions of the R here in this case. Now just equating the powers of this one fundamental quantities, that is m, L, T on both the sides. Okay, now just say equate the powers of this m. Now see the power of m here towards the left side of this equation, 0 with us. Now see the power of the m towards the right side. So power of the m, so here the power of the m with us C1 and power of the m with us here 1. So here base becomes common, so C1 plus 1 will come towards the right side, and towards the left side the power of the m with us 0. So we can get the this is nothing but the relation number 1. So from this what we get? We can get the C1 value. So C1 equals to minus 1 we can get from this relation. So what's about the next one? So here from this case we can just equate the powers of the L. Okay, so here towards the left side again 0 with us, and towards the right side see the power of L, A1 with us, so A1 written here. So power of the next one L with us, so L raised to B1 with us. So here one can write here B1. Okay, so what's about the power of the L here? So L raised to minus 3 with us, and raised to again C1, so minus 3 C1 should be written here, and power of the L with us here 1, so that's why here 1 is written. Now in this case just substitute the value of C1 here and get this equation in terms of this one A1 and B1. Okay, now substitute the value for here B1 as well as C1 and get the value for the A1. Okay, so here minus okay, minus B1 will remain here, minus B1 plus 3 C1 minus 1. Okay, so in this case if you just see the B1 that actually obtained from this relation. Okay, B1 we can get by equating the dimensions of this time t, because time t here available with us. So just give the equation number 1 up to here and just keep this equation as it is. Move towards the next equation where we have to equate the power of the time parameter. So here 0 with us, and towards the right side of this one see the power of the t1, that is minus b1, because here the minus 1 with that with us multiplied by b1 is nothing but the minus b1, and in case of the dimensions of the t here minus 2 with us. So here by solving this we can get the b1 as minus 2. If I substitute the value for b1 as minus 2 here, we can get plus 2. So value for the c1 already with us, that is minus 1. Okay, so minus 1 again you have to write here. Okay, so once we solve this we can get the value for the a1. So we have with us a1, then c1, b1. Now substitute the value of a1, b1, c1 in equation number this one, this equation, and get the value for the pi 1. So pi 1 is nothing but, now focus here, L raised to minus 2. So minus 2, the value for a2 with us as minus 2. That's why here raised to minus 2 is written. Now what's about the power of this v term? So this actually with us, so b1, So B1 already we are analyzed for that for the B1 as -2. That's why we have to replace this B1 by -2. What's about the row raised to C1? The C1 value already with us -1. So substitute the value of A1, B1, C1 into this equation and get the pi1 term. Okay. Now similarly, if you just see here pi1 term we are written. So whatever the raised to raised to minus terms available with us, okay, automatically that terms goes in denominator in short. Okay, so we can simply write this way: pi1 equals to r divided by l square into v square into rho. Okay, in this way we can write that relation. Similarly, we can do the analysis for the next one, that is for the pi2. So in case of pi2, see the dimensions towards the left side. Left side, all terms are missing, means we can just write m raised to again 0, then l raised to 0, t raised to 0 in case of pi2. And see the dimensions towards the right side. Towards the right side, you just see, towards the right side, you just see, instead of writing here a raised to l raised to a1, you should write here a raised to l raised to minus l raised to a2, then similar term here, that is b2, then c2, etc. So basic these dimensions remain same, but you need to just change the power at every step. Okay, now if you just see, if you just compare the powers of this m towards the right side of this one, important thing here, only this term get changes, and what are the dimensions of this one, this one will remain same. Okay, so with respect to this one, again just equate everything and get the value of here again a2, c2, b2, etc. Again put the values of that a2, b2, c2 into this equation. Okay, a2, b2, c2, and see what's about the we can get here. So pi2 equals to, so here after solving we can get the value for that a2 as -1. Okay, similar case with the next one, you can get the value for the power of this one, v, that is b2 with us -1. Similarly next one, the power of that next one, rho term with us -1, just substitute here, and in this way you can get the relation for the pi2. Now similarly do the analysis for pi3. Okay, now we can get in this case also a3, b3, c3. Okay, and just substitute the value of this a3, b3, c3 here and get the value for pi2, pi3. Once we get the value for the pi3, just we can get this relation in this way. Now at last, just substituting the values of pi1, pi2, pi3 in equation number 3, equation number this 3 with us. Okay, so we can get that relation in this way. So this one f1 is nothing but here the function of this r divided by rho into l square b square, then this one mu divided by l into b into rho, then next one k divided by v square into rho equals to 0, or one can write this relation in this way. So r divided by this term actually taken towards the right side of this one, or you can just write this in this way: r divided by rho into l square into v square equals to phi into this term. Or at last, as per our m, resisting force, we have to find out the dimensions of that resisting force. We can get that in this way: r equals to rho into this term l square into v square into phi in actually bracket mu divided by l into v into rho 1 k divided by v square into rho. In this way we can get the dimensions for resisting force. Now we'll see the next problem. Using Buckingham's pi theorem, show that the velocity through a circular orifice is given by v equals to up to t h phi v by h comma mu into rho v h in this way, where h is the head causing flow, t is the diameter of the orifice, mu is the coefficient of viscosity, rho is the mass density, and g is the acceleration due to gravity. Now just say given data with us, v is the function of h, d, mu, rho and g. So one can write this way: v equals to is the function of h, d, mu, rho, g. You can simply write in this way. Just take all the terms towards the one side, and the function of v, h, d, mu, rho, g equals to 0. Now see the total number of variables. Count the total number of variables: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So writing the dimensions of each variables. Write the dimension of this v, h, d, mu, rho, g, etc. Now we know the dimensions of the velocity, that is v equals to L into t raised to minus 1, then h equals to L, d is nothing but here L, phi we are written here the h for L. So this is nothing but the geometric parameter. That's why you can just represent the dimensions of any geometric parameter with the help of this L. Similar case with the here the diameter, that is L. The next one mu. So dimensions of the mu with us m into L raised to minus 1 t raised to minus 1 in this way. Now what's about this rho? Rho is nothing but the ml raised to minus 3. Okay, so these are nothing but the dimensions of the rho. Similar case with the next one g, dimensions of the g with us L into t raised to minus 2. Okay, so the number of fundamental dimensions with us, that is m is nothing but the 3. Number of pi terms is nothing but the here total number of variables minus this one m, that is 6 minus 3. We can get the pi terms equals to 3. So equation 1 can be written as this. Equation 1 can be written as it is the function of this one pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 equals to 0. So each pi terms contain m plus 1 variable. Okay, m plus 1. So m with us 3 this one variables into 1 plus 1. Okay, where this m equals to 3 and is also equal to repeating variables. Okay, so here v is the dependent variable and hence should not be selected as a repeating variable. Okay, so choosing this h, g, rho as the repeating variables, we get the 3 pi terms. Now why this one h, rho, h, g, rho is taken as a repeating variable? Now this will clear to you here. Okay, so as per condition is given, out of this 3 variable, first must be a geometrical variable, next one must be a flow variable, and next one must be possess the fluid property. Okay, so here according to that rule, okay, here h indicate the height. Okay, that is nothing but the geometric variable or that possess the geometric property. So g indicate the here the flow property. Okay, so g, okay, written here. Then rho is nothing but here possessed by that particular fluid is nothing but the fluid property. Okay, so we can write this first pi term, that is pi 1 is nothing but h raised to a1 into g raised to b1 into rho raised to c1 into v. Now if you look towards this one, h, then rho and g. Okay, if I group them here, the remaining one with us v, then d, and next one is nothing but the mu. Okay, so multiply by that every term to this repeating variables. Okay, so v, d, mu in this way. Now just see, we can start the analysis for the pi 1 term in this way. So write this one h raised to a1 into g raised to b1 into rho raised to c1 into v this way. Now put the dimensions towards both the side. Now if you just see towards the left side, m raised to 0 with us, then t raised to 0 with us, and l raised to 0 with us. And towards the right side, you put the dimensions of the every term. With respect to the first pi term, what's about the dimensions of this h, l with us? What's about the dimension of the g with us? That is l into t raised to minus 2 raised to b1 will come. Then what's about the next term? Next term is here a rho. So what's about the dimensions of the rho? M into t raised to minus 3 with us raised to c1. Okay, So these are nothing but the dimensions of the row. What's about the dimension of this velocity? Dimensions of the velocity with us L into t raised to minus 1. Okay. Now just equate the powers of the m, powers of the L, powers of the t from both the side. Okay. So if I equate the power of the m towards the left side and towards the right side, if you just see that power of the m with us here 0 and power of the m with us here m raised to c1, means here we can get simply as c1. So 0 equals to c1. So ultimately we can get the value for the c1 as 0. So what's about the power of L? So power of the L is nothing but you should equate the power of L towards the left side as well as towards the right side. So 0 equals to, what's about the power of L here? A1. So what's about the power of the L here? B1. Okay. So A1 plus B1. What's about the power of L here? Power of the L with us here plus 1. Now see the power of the L towards the left side and towards the right side. Okay. So if you just see here, the power of the L with us 0, power of the L with us A1, power of the L with us here as B1, and power of the L with us here 1. Okay. So if you just see here, A1 equals to B, here we can just write here minus B1 minus 1. Okay. The next step we can get the value for the B1 in this way as the value for the C1 with us. Easily you can just substitute here, but before that, say first of all you have to just equate the dimensions of time t towards the left side and towards the right side. So here the 0 with us and towards the right side t raised to minus 2 into this one, t raised to minus 2 raised to b1, means here we can get the t raised to minus 2 b1. Okay, so here we can get this way minus 2 b1 and t raised to minus 3 raised to c1, means you can get here minus 3 c1. In the next we just see the power of this t with us minus 1. Okay, so here we can get minus 1. We just equate with the 0. We know here the value for the c1 with us 0, substitute here and get the value for the b1. So once we get the value for the b1 as minus 1 by 2, just substitute in the previous actually step. Okay, and get the value for the a1. So once we get the value for the a1 b1 c1, just again come back to us that pi1 term. So pi1 actually already with us. So once we get the value for this a1 b1 c1, just substitute here a1 as minus 1 half, b1 as minus 1 half, a row is 0 because the c1 value with us 0 into v. So from this we can get the value for the pi1. So pi1 is nothing but here in this case v. You just see the raised to half term with us, so we can simply write terms inside of the square root sign g into h in this way. Now similarly move towards the next one, pi2 term. So pi2 is nothing but here in this case h into h raised to a2, g raised to b2, rho raised to c2 into d. Now we'll start the analysis for this case by putting the dimensions towards the left side as well as towards the right side. Now you just see we can get the value for the a2, b2, c2 by equating the dimensions towards the left side and towards the right side. So once we get the dimensions of this a2, b2 and c2, just substitute that dimensions okay into this equation and get this relation in this way. h2 equals to h raised to minus 1, g raised to 0, then rho raised to 0. Simply you can get d by h because the any quantity raised to 0 is nothing but 1. So what we get here, d divided by h in this way. Now similarly just do the analysis for the next pi term, that is pi3, by substituting the dimensions towards the left side and towards the right side. Equate the powers of the left side and right side quantities. Then what we get here, we can get again a3, b3, c3, substitute this a3 b3 c3 in equation number this one pi 3 equation. Okay, so if you just see here the a3 b3 and c3 with us, minus 3 by 2 here, minus 1 half, and c3 is nothing but the minus 1. Now just substitute the here for the a3 as minus 3 by 2, because already we get here minus 3 by 2. The next one, g raised to b3 means here minus half. Okay, then rho raised to here minus 1. Now here rho raised to minus 1 into mu. So whatever the minus term with us, simply just that terms we should write in denominator. Okay. So h raised to minus 3 by 2 means here we can write in denominator as h raised to plus 3 by 2. And what's about this term? Rho raised to minus 1 means simply you can write rho in this way in denominator. Okay, and what's about this g raised to minus 1 by 2? We can just simply put that in square root sign. Okay, now if you just see in the next step, mu divided by, we can just simply multiply and divide by v to this term. So what we get here, mu into v divided by h into rho into v square root of this g into h in this way. So we can get that term. So what's about the meaning of this term? Mu divided by rho h rho v, this term remains as it is, and v divided by square root of g into h. This is nothing but the pi 1. Let's see the value for the pi 1 with us, v divided by rho into square root of v divided by square root of g into h. Get in terms of pi 1 in this way. Now substitute the value of pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 in equation number 2. So simply you can get as a function of v divided by square root of g h, then d by h pi 1, and next one mu divided by h rho v in this way, and equate with the 0. Or simply one can write just write this term towards the one side and take all the terms towards the another side. Okay, so we can get this way. Now my target is to just derive this expression. Okay, now if you just see here, the two term still not into picture. If I multiply by this term by 2, no any effect of this 2 multiplication of this 2, the dimensions of this variable takes place here, or pi terms. If you just see multiply by this term to 2, here written multiplying by a constant does not change the character of the pi term. In this way you can get the relation for this velocity v. I hope that Buckingham's pi theorem clear to you. Thank you.